Tessa Quinn stood outside the upscale restaurant, clutching her little boy's hand. Oliver, only 3 years old, wore his favorite Batman shirt, his curls still damp from a recent bath. She had tried to explain that Mommy had an important dinner tonight, but he hadn't understood. When the babysitter cancelled at the last minute with a stomach bug text, Tessa had no one else to call. Her mother lived far away, and she hadn't made close friends since moving to the city. The dinner was supposed to be her first real date in years, and meeting with Landon Hayes, a successful businessman she'd met on a dating app. After 2 weeks of chatting, he had seemed kind, genuine, and patient. But now, standing there with Oliver, she was about to cancel. She typed a message quickly. "I'm so sorry, but I have to cancel. Babysitter emergency." "I know it's short notice." Before she could leave, her phone rang. "Hello?" She answered nervously. "Tessa, it's Landon. I just got your text." "Where are you?" "Outside the restaurant," she said. "But I need to go home. My babysitter cancelled." "And you're with your son?" His voice was calm, not annoyed. "Yes," she admitted. "I know this isn't appropriate for a first date. I was just trying to figure something out." "Bring him in," Landon interrupted gently. "What? Bring your son inside. We'll all have dinner together." "I already have a table." She hesitated. This was supposed to be a date, not a family dinner. "Then we'll call it a family-friendly meeting," he said with a smile in his voice. "Unless you'd rather not." "Hey, I completely understand." Tessa looked at Oliver, crouched down inspecting the leaf. The thought of going back to her empty apartment, eating frozen pizza alone again, made her chest ache. "Okay," she said softly, "we'll come in." "But he's 3, and not exactly fine dining material." "Neither was I at 3, Landon said warmly. "Come on in." Inside, the restaurant gleamed with white tablecloths and quiet conversation. Tessa felt out of place in her jeans and t-shirt, Oliver clutching her hand. The host looked at them disapprovingly until a man stood up from the corner table and waved. Landon Hayes was even more handsome than his photos, dark hair, confident posture, an expensive suit. But when he approached, he crouched to Oliver's level and smiled. "Hey there, I'm Landon." "What's your name?" "I'm Oliver," the boy said. "I'm 3, and I like Batman." "Batman's awesome," Landon replied seriously. "Do you know his superpower?" Oliver shook his head. "He doesn't have one," Landon said. "He's just brave." "That means anyone can be a hero if they try." Oliver's eyes lit up. "So I can be Batman?" "Absolutely." When Landon stood and shook Tessa's hand, she could barely speak. "I'm so sorry about all this. It's not what you signed up for." "Actually," he said gently, "it's exactly what I signed up for. You said being a mother is the most important part of your life. Meeting Oliver means meeting the biggest part of your world." At the table, a booster seat and crayons were already waiting. "I called ahead," Landon explained. "Figured it might help." Tessa stared at him, stunned. "Why are you being so kind about this? Most men would have left." He paused, his voice quiet. "Can I tell you something not on my dating profile? I have a daughter, Sophia. She's 8. I haven't seen her in 3 years." Her heart softened. "What happened?" "Divorce," he said, sadness flickering in his eyes. "Her mom moved to Australia. I get video calls twice a month. That's it." "When you said your babysitter cancelled, I didn't feel disappointed. I felt grateful." "You're the kind of mother who always puts her child first. That's something to respect, not run from." Tessa blinked away tears. "Everyone says they don't want to date single moms. Like my son is baggage." "Your son is a gift," Landon said firmly. Oliver looked up. "Mommy, are you crying?" "No, sweetheart," she said, smiling. These are happy tears. Dinner went beautifully. They talked about parenting, loneliness, and the struggles of balancing work and love. Landon made sure Oliver was included, even showing him pictures of Sophia. "She's pretty," Oliver said. "Does she like Batman?" "She's more of a Wonder Woman fan," Landon said, grinning. When dinner ended, Oliver grew sleepy. Landon offered to carry him, lifting the boy onto his shoulders. Oliver giggled, calling himself a giant. Watching them, Tessa felt something ease inside her, a warmth she hadn't felt in years. At her car, she thanked Landon. "You didn't have to be this kind, Tessa," he said softly. "You didn't ruin anything. You reminded me what being a father feels like." Over the following months, they grew closer. Sometimes Tessa managed a babysitter, sometimes Oliver tagged along. Landon never complained. "This is a real date," he told her once, with Oliver asleep between them on the couch. Getting to know you means getting to know him. 6 months later, Landon received unexpected news. His ex-wife wanted to move back to the U.S. and share custody. "She saw my posts with you and Oliver," he told Tessa, tears in his eyes. "She said I've changed, that I'm a real dad again." When Sophia finally visited, she was shy at first. But Oliver ran to her, proudly showing his Batman toys. Within minutes, they were laughing together. A year later, Landon proposed at home with both kids there. Oliver helped choose the ring. Sophia wrote a small speech about how she'd always wanted a brother. At their wedding, Oliver wore a Batman shirt under his suit. Sophia tossed petals down the aisle, and Landon promised to love all of them. "You thought bringing Oliver to our first date would scare me away," he said in his vows, "but it brought me exactly what I'd been missing, a family." Years later, Tessa would tell people the story about the cancelled babysitter, the text message, and the man who said, "Bring him in." She'd tell them how she'd learned that the right person doesn't see your child as a burden but as part of the love you bring. Because true love, she realized, isn't about finding someone who fits perfectly into your world. It's about finding someone who wants to help build it with you. A year into their marriage, life in the blended Hayes-Quinn household had settled into a rhythm that felt both ordinary and miraculous. Mornings were a whirlwind of cereal bowls, missing socks, and shared laughter as Oliver and Sophia now inseparably bickered like real siblings. Landon had adjusted his work schedule, choosing to work remotely half the week so he could do school drop-offs and help with homework. Tessa, once used to doing everything alone, still caught herself pausing sometimes just to take in the sound of her family moving around her. The soft hum of Landon's voice reading to the kids before bed, the giggles echoing down the hallway, the warmth of knowing she wasn't the only adult carrying the weight anymore. One evening, as the kids played in the living room building a blanket fort, Landon found Tessa in the kitchen washing dishes. He came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Do you ever stop?" he teased softly. "Not really," she said, smiling. "Moms don't get an off button." He kissed her temple. "You do now. We're a team, remember?" Tessa leaned back into him, closing her eyes. "I still can't believe this is real sometimes. A few years ago, it was just me and Oliver. Every day felt like survival, and now a broken bar." "Now you're living," Landon said gently. "And so am I." In the months that followed, Sophia and Oliver became the heart of their new family. They had movie nights with popcorn fights, Saturday morning pancakes shaped like superheroes, and weekends spent exploring parks and museums. But life wasn't always picture perfect. There were arguments about bedtime, tears over missing toys, and the occasional wave of guilt that hit Tessa when she remembered how lonely things used to be. Landon sometimes struggled too, juggling co-parenting arrangements with Sophia's mother and learning to balance his career with being fully present. Yet through it all, they showed up for each other. When Tessa got offered a promotion at work that required more hours, she hesitated to accept. "I don't want to miss too much time with the kids," she confessed one night. Landon smiled. "You've spent years putting everyone else first. It's okay to choose yourself sometimes. We'll figure it out together." And they did. Landon picked up more carpool shifts. Sophia helped pack Oliver's lunches. Their home ran on shared effort and love. The following summer, Sophia's mother invited her to spend part of her school break in Australia. Landon worried, afraid his daughter might start to feel distant again. But Tessa reminded him, she knows where home is now. When Sophia returned, she came back taller, tanned, and holding a small stuffed koala for Oliver. "I missed you," she said, hugging her dad tightly. That night, Landon sat on the porch watching the kids chase fireflies in the yard. Tessa joined him, handing him a cup of tea. "Do you ever think about that night?" she asked. "The dinner at Merlot's?" "All the time," he said. "I think about how close you were to canceling, how close I was to missing all of this." Tessa smiled. "Funny how a cancelled babysitter changed everything." He reached for her hand. "It didn't just change everything, it gave me everything." Years later, their love story became a favorite among friends and family. Whenever someone doubted whether real love could survive chaos, Tessa would tell them, "The right person doesn't wait for your life to be perfect, they step into the mess with you and make it beautiful." Oliver grew into a kind, thoughtful young man who still kept his old Batman shirt tucked away like a lucky charm. Sophia blossomed into a confident teenager who adored her blended family. And through every milestone, school plays, scraped knees, birthdays, and quiet evenings filled with laughter. Tessa and Landon kept proving the same truth they'd learned that first night. Love isn't just about two people finding each other, it's about building something bigger, something real, messy, and extraordinary with everyone who becomes part of your heart. Because sometimes, the greatest love stories begin with a cancelled babysitter and the courage to say yes anyway.